Hi, welcome to Barmy podcast number 27. I'm joined this evening by Nat and by Jake. Nat, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. Just ticking along, innit?
Yeah. We'll talk obviously a little bit more about events of this last week and where they leave us all. Jake, how are you doing?
I'm okay. Yeah. Excited to get back to league action, which is still a week and a bit away, but we're getting there.
We're getting there, and also we're getting there with additions to the squad. Okay, so definitely getting excited. Good evening, Mark. Good evening, Ian. Nice to have you both with us. First of all, we're going to talk a little bit about the reason for the most recent gap in action, which is the internationals. Now, even Fiona, I know as United fans, we have a bit of it's not even a love-hate relationship within internationals. It's just a don't care. However, Jake, I know you absolutely love the internationals. And in fact, you just like watching football from random outposts in the world, really, don't you?
Yeah. Look, I cover it all. I don't discriminate. I just watch football.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And at this point in time, you've got to take whatever action you can get. Nat, would it be fair to say we had a little bit more interest in the England squad, bearing in mind that we had a few more players in there? And when I say a little bit more interest, I mean like a little bit more.
Yeah, that's what it was. A little bit more. I didn't watch any of the games. Saw the goals. Obviously, it was refreshing. Because we were Team United, I called it, because thankfully all the United girls were in the same team, which I was happy about. Obviously, Russo started, so it was refreshing to see. When I saw good stuff about her, I was happy. And then obviously Tooney came on first game and got a goal with literally a first touch, which was a header. And I've done a little preview of Tooney in the Since blog. So if anyone sees it online, Since 71, and it's just talking about how she's just really come up and deserved that spot, because I think she got a goal and then she got an assist in the second game. And I've seen the assist, and it's just like, again, just the way she's been assisting us out here, like one touch, boom, whipped it round, bang, on the plate, and the team won again. And Millie and Abby started that second game, so it was good to see.
Yeah, and if anybody's reading that, Nat, that's on your Twitter. There'll be if people go on your Twitter profile, they'll see the links to that. Good evening, John. So what happened effectively with the England squad, because they didn't have a game, was they split the squad down the middle and made two teams, and they had two competitive matches against one another, and all of our girls got a run out and were on the winning team both times. Or do you know what? I really haven't got a clue what was going on. Suffice to say, as much as we know, there was no injuries. Because that to me is the most important thing. No injuries, seemed to perform well. Like you say, Tooney got a goal in the first game. Hopefully they've come back healthy and well. Jake, you were watching. I got confused last night. I thought Norway were playing. Yeah, I thought Norway were playing Australia. What was that kit?
It was Wales'
kit. Their away kit. I'm convinced. I looked. I thought, no. I'm flicking through, going wrong channel. I thought that was the Aussie kit.
Well, maybe they're taking inspiration and trying to become one of the best in the world, but it takes more than just a good kit, doesn't it?
Yeah. Not a successful night for Wales.
No, not exactly, but it's one of those that you sort of go in expecting defeat, because we know Norway are a brilliant team, the World Cup quarter-finalists, and look, from a United point of view, we got to see Hayley Ladd, bossing the defence. She's a big reason why they only kept it to one goal. That and the referee giving a bizarre offside decision, but I'm not complaining. 1-0. It's one of those you never want to lose, but it's one that you can accept because there was a real golfing quality, and sadly, not everyone in the Wales team is Hayley standard, so it's sort of understandable.
Yeah, I think that was quite telling in the bits that I saw, that she is head and shoulders above some of that team. And when you watch her, I have a sense of pride that she's one of our players. And Nat, I know you've got a lot of love for Hayley. A lot of people have got a lot of love for Hayley Ladd. Hopefully she has a very combative style, and I often think she possibly treads a fine line between injury and keeping healthy. Nat, go on, you're coming in with something.
There's a lot of talk. I remember when it happened, and Graham Hansen, the one who plays for Barcelona and Norway, she's torn her cruciate. And people are blaming Hayley Ladd, saying that Hayley stamped on her, but I didn't see that. I saw Hayley, pressuring her. And we all know about Hayley. She, you know, Laddinator, she's going to come in tough tackle. But people are saying she played left back that game and saying Namrata. But I don't want people to think, oh, she's dirty or this and that. No, she's just physical and strong. She won't pull out a tackle. And if someone gets injured going up against her, like a massive player like Graham Hansen, then it's unfortunate for her. Obviously, Graham Hansen, we don't see anyone injured, but Hayley don't go out there to injure people, but if you come out injured after 12-man lad, that's it.
That's her style. That's her style. And I often feel, I thought it was her Achilles, not a cruise ship, whatever it is. Caroline and Graham Hansen. Well, I don't think Torrin and Ellen are joining us. Otherwise, they might have some choice words for Hayley Ladd at this point. But yeah, I just think she plays that very physical style, and she treads that fine line. And sometimes I fear for her. And obviously that's the point. Ian makes a point. And actually, this is a really rare point that we should ever make. No, poor officiating in a game. Who'd have thought? Mark says it was a bizarre offside rule. Ian, of course, there's poor officiating. When isn't there, unfortunately, even at international level? So we also had Jackie, Lotta, Honor were out with their national teams. I probably missed somebody. It's not intentional. It's just because it's internationals. Right, it's done. Jake, anything you want to say about internationals as a fan of them?
No, well, Ian's dead right about the referee last night. Not going to spend too much time on it, but there was also a penalty shout for Wales. So, look, you could have had a goal at one end and a penalty at another. But, you know, we shouldn't be used to it, but we are in women's football. And just touch on Honor. She was in the squad. I don't think she played in Spain's game. I think it was Andorra. Am I right? It was Andorra or Moldova. It's one of the
Moldova.
One of the giants of international football there, Jake.
Well, they won't. I was hoping to see a bit of Honor because they won the game 9-0. I think. I don't know about the score, but it was high scoring, and so I'm a little bit disappointed that Honor didn't get a bit of game time, but. You know, she'll have a chance in Spain, definitely.
Ian and I agree on something.
Lotta was playing in the under-23s. I don't think they had anything. They probably just had a camp. And then I don't think the under-19s met up. I don't think anyone was in any other squads. I think that was it. But yeah, Lotta went all the way out. I mean, not Lotta. Anna went all the way out there just to sit on the bench. But she's played a lot. She's coming back fit. That's all that matters.
That's all. That's what I always say. Jake, I don't know if you can see this. Mark's got a question for you. When Wales play Belarus, who are you going to support?
Look, it's got to be Wales. It's got to always, you know, the home nations.
Okay.
Always.
Okay. Fiona has a comment about England.
Yeah, Jackie played apparently.
Namrata says Jackie was playing in the middle. Did I see something where Jackie was in the centre of midfield? I might have made that up.
Listen, Jake, I'm taking over your international roundup. Jackie played Russia, and she played at CDM apparently, and she got some dirt in her eye. And Russia were very physical. I think it was like a 3G pitch, so you know, like how we had those little beads.
Bubbles,
yeah. I think a pebble got in her eye. And then obviously they had a 11v11 training match like how England had, and she was on the losing team.
As long as they come back healthy, as long as they come back well, that's all that matters to me. Hello, Namrata. I didn't actually say a proper hello to you. Max, hello. I'm sorry, Jake. You're taking some heat tonight.
Hey, there's a difference between league and international. That's all I'm going to say.
Actually, I'm going to come back on Mark there and just say, Mark, we are club fans, not international. Jake's applying the same logic there. John completely agrees. As long as our players come back fit and healthy, that's the main thing. So, international's done, but we're not playing this week because this weekend is last year's FA Cup. It still bemuses me. I've got issues with it. I'm not happy. I've said my piece. It's stupid. But we're not playing again this weekend. But it gives a full squad now because nobody's quarantining, nobody's hiding, nobody's yet to be announced. Natalie's very excited, I can see. And some players have had their publicity done. We're waiting on one. We know it's been done, but we're waiting on a Christen Press interview. Okay? Or as I like to call it, a Christen Press conference. It doesn't really work very well like that. So, Nat, go on.
It's ready. Tobin has even said it. I've came into training. It wasn't everyone. Now everyone's back. Now we're going to see the link up. That's the most important thing. It would have been good. I mean, we're not going to see anything, are we? We might see a few videos, maybe. But, and, you know, maybe they might do an 11v11, throw some devs in, you know, see. Imagine them broadcasting that on MUTV. Everyone will want to watch that. Everyone's excited for it. We just want to get back to play.
Absolutely. Jake, I don't know if you've heard this. John says he's not heard Tobin yet. Tobin's done. Have you seen this, Jake?
I've not yet. No, I need to go watch it.
Yeah, it's good. There's a shorter version. There's about 6-minute version. But today there was released the full 20-minute interview that she did with Ailey Barber, who people may in the UK be aware of from the women's football show. She presents that. She's done other bits and bobs.
Just this for fully. Yeah.
Okay. Because it's not an in-house Manchester United production, it's gone to somebody who's not Mark Sullivan. So in that interview, Tobin is asked about why she's come over to this country, what she makes of the country, because clearly she's been able to see nothing while she was in quarantine. But some of the comments from her, Nat, she's not just coming here to make up the numbers. Jake, you got to watch it.
No, I should have watched it. But I'm not here. I don't care what trophies we win. I'm just here to win. Bitch, that's the kind of shit that we need to see. And I know I'm swearing, but that's what we need to see. I don't care what trophies we win. We're just here to win. And I've been saying it on Twitter. We're not here to take part anymore. We're not here to make up the numbers. You know, people have been saying this and that. Oh, Sam Lewis is a better signing because of this and that. And Man City, man, we're not here anymore to talk about, oh, let's just hope we get fourth. We're here to win the lot. And that's what they're here to do. So let's just do it, man. Believe.
And at least she quarantined.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that one probably. We also believe that Katie should be out of her isolation because it would have been 10 days from when the positive test was. And if I understand it correctly, which I probably don't, there's every chance she's out of her isolation. Jess may still have to quarantine. Nat, you know how we were saying about don't swear? Child's watching. And I was going to say...
Swear words, really.
Remember, Max, it's one of those words you hear at football that you don't repeat outside of it. Jessica says about this mentality, the American mentality comes through in this interview that Tobin's done. And actually, I was watching it before, and what comes out of it is just how well she speaks, for one thing, and just how she gets what she's here to do. She knows she's not coming here on a long-term deal. She knows she's coming here to do a job for herself effectively. But she also knows she's not coming here to make up the numbers. And she clearly says she is here to win titles. And honestly, when I heard that, the only thing that frustrated me was, when are we going to get to see it? Because we might not get to some of these games.
We might not out of a conference final. You know, conference final, that's in March, is it? March? February, Jake?
February. February, isn't it, Jake? Jake's our resident conference expert. Yeah. Namrata is quoting here a journalist Jake, I don't know if you've seen it today, but apparently fans in the UK know Rose Lavelle better than Kristen Press because she had a good World Cup.
They'll see. They'll see. When we burn Twitter down, Honor's already said we burnt Twitter down. You know, when they did the announcement and he said 2, not 3, that was probably the most liked tweet that any club has ever got ever. So all this, everyone knows when Kristen Press said hi, that was her fourth most liked tweet ever. You know, it was trending in the UK.
She dropped it like 5:30 in the morning, didn't she? The morning after she was announced, it was just this hi.
Everyone went mad. There was memes of her saying hi. You know, when this interview drops, for me, I like Tobin. I wanted to do well, but for me, I think Kristen Press is the queen. You know, Namrat is saying Kristen Press is the queen. People saying they don't know her.
If nothing else,
that knocked England out of the World Cup, so of course they know her. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Fiona's confirming what we feared, that the Conti final at the end of Feb. Yeah, that comment going back to Susie Rack, who's never really had the most positive things to say about United. Can I be completely honest? The thing I know Rose Lavelle for most of all is taking an absolute swan dive against Spain to win the dodgiest of dodgy penalties. But yeah, Fiona, I'm going to make it my aim this season that by the end of it, hopefully when we're in games, Nat will shout out, Kristen, I love you. And we're going to get her name right. Nat, that's your challenge. Namrat is looking forward to Tobin Heath telling off the refs when they make a blunder. Well, that'll be every 5 seconds then, unfortunately, with the refs in the WSL. Ian, come back at us on that one if you dare. So, yeah, there is this interview with Tobin. It's great. It pretty much says everything as a fan you want to hear. But there's intelligence in it. It's not just like she's been given all the notes and said, say this, then say this, then maybe drop this line in. It's thought out. It just feels there's a little bit of genuineness about that. Obviously, Susie Rack's going to lose her head because Tobin Heath is a confessed Arsenal fan. She's not gone to them, though. Ian's absolutely in agreement, Namrata. Can't disagree with the fact that Tobin will be telling the refs off every 5 minutes. Fiona also says she won't take any rubbish. I think we're going to like her because if there's one thing I love. Sorry, Nat?
I can't wait for when she comes up against Man City. Yeah, that's going to be the one.
Hold that thought. Shane's with us this evening. Nice to have you with us, Shane. One of the things that's great is that Tobin doesn't call it soccer. She calls it football. And because of that, honestly, Jake, this is how good it is. I agree. She deserves all the respect. Fiona agrees. Best part of the interview. John, nice to see you this evening. Yeah, looked really genuine. This is what I was saying, John, that was just well thought out. So we've had one of those from Tobin. We're hopefully going to get one of those from Kristen. Then all that needs to happen is that Jess needs to get herself fit. She needs to get herself out of her isolation. Martha needs to get herself out of her boot. And Fuso needs to get through whatever she's got. And then the squad is ready. We have a huge squad. And we've gone from having a very predictable lineup to, within the very first game, Casey blew that out of the water. We didn't have a full squad against Chelsea, but Casey managed to throw a curveball. She kept Jackie on the bench, and it proved itself. It came good. So already we've got a different view on things. Mark makes the point about Tobin. Just have to come back to it. She does explain why, and Fiona mentions this. Loved her reasoning for that. Basically, she likes number 7. Also, I think Mark's got, well, no, I don't think Mark's already got his 77 shirt. Get in, it's not soccer. It's football, absolutely. So we've got this, I think, almost an embarrassment of riches, and it's brilliant. And one of the conversations we were having on the social last Sunday was when we start again, and we've got another week now, so there's a full week at least of training for everybody. Bearing in mind the Conti Cup games also kick in. Jake, I know you're a particular fan. Have you seen our fixtures released today? Yeah.
I have done, yeah, I have.
Just sadness that we're not going to get to go to Everton again this season. But here's the question, Jake. Not just how does Jane Ross fit in, but I think Ian liked that. And we know why Ian likes that. It's £20 riding on it. But who are we playing in that game against Brighton? Who are we holding back for the Conti game? Squad rotation now becomes a case of we don't need to play our best. We can't play our best 11 every game. We've had Abby Mack pulled off at halftime at Birmingham, I think, for underperforming. Amy Turner, we know, can't play 3 games in a week. Tooney's having a great run of form at the moment. Jackie's also playing really well. We don't know Katie's health. Is she feeling any ill effects, or is she absolutely fine? If she's fit, this midfield suddenly becomes questionable. And our forward line, oh boy, I think we should just play Mary in goal and 8 forwards. 8 forwards? I can't count. 10 forwards. Now, we talked about this on the social a little bit, didn't we, Jake? And we talked about who plays and who do we drop. This game against Brighton, assuming everybody's fit, who starts with you?
Tooney still. Hanson still.
Let's start from the back now. Who's your goalkeeper?
Mary. Yeah.
Jake.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Yeah.
Mary's in net. Who's your defence?
Mary's in net. Who's right back? Smithy, right back.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Millie and Abby. Not Abby, Amy.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Connor, obviously left back. Then I'm going to go Hayley Ladd, Jackie Gronin, Ella Toon. This is where it gets hard now because you've got Ruth. Yeah. You've got Press. So for me, it depends who plays well out of them two. But I'll still keep Hanson in at right. And this is going to make people, play Tobin at left. And whether people like that or not, I just think it all depends how they're going to play in training. It all depends what Leah looks like next to Tobin. But I think you can't drop Hanson. You can't drop Tooney because I think they're the form players. Obviously, Jackie is form player as well. Ladd, form player. Whether Stanny's back and I think she is because there was pictures on her Instagram. She's definitely off a suspension so she can play. Whether Stanny challenges Ladd, I don't know. But for me, it's Honor not being dropped. It's Ladd, Jackie, Tooney, and Hanson. And then I think, the rest is whoever plays best. And, whether you name Kristen Press or Alicia Russo, who's playing best up front. LJ's back as well. Who's playing best up front? What are they doing in this week? This is the week where you pick, where you cement your place. I'm not saying like Hanson and that has set for like the rest of the season. I'm just saying they were playing so well coming up to it. I think it'd be a shame for them to be dropped. But obviously they've had it's going to be 3 weeks in between it. So maybe they might not be playing as well in training. So maybe Hanson might come out. This is where we're up to now. And I think Casey said it at the start. When she said it, she said, I want 2 players for every position. And I laughed at her and I went, we ain't going to have no 2 players for every position. Now we do.
Yeah. And the point that we were making, I remember saying, I think it was in the fan cams after Birmingham, I actually said that on the way that game went, I thought Leah Galton was at risk of losing her place. And a few people said, oh, well, she was one of our stars last season. But the squad we've got right now, nobody, and we've talked a lot about this now, about other people from the championship season, you have to perform every match or you are at risk. John Fry's put his team in. Thank you, John. Similar to what you've said there, Nat, keeping Leah in though and having Russo in the middle. Mark, Mary Smith. Sorry. I saw that. I read that straight away as Mary Smith. I thought, who's she?
Well, did you see that comment that Fiona's posted?
Yeah.
You drop Leah and Abby.
And this is the thing that we've said.
I dropped Leah. Never in my life would I drop Leah. But
and actually, does Abby keep her position because Amy can't play 3 games in a week? Because, and this is the point that we're all making here, Shane's just asking a question. Nat, do we know about LJ? Has she stopped pedaling yet?
She's getting about LJ. Don't worry about LJ.
Yeah, maybe those wheels are moving her somewhere. Fiona confirmed she's made it back to Lee. That's sure. Jake, I'm going to come to you in a minute because I think the substitutes bench and who comes off is going to be as interesting almost as the 11. But I'm kind of guessing that Tobin and Kristen are not going to start that Brighton game. I expect them to come on. I think if Ivana's fit at any stage, she's on the bench. It's LJ or Russo. I know you're a big fan of Lucy Stan. Jake, Mark's agreeing. Give the Americans 30 minutes. Jake, who's on the bench for Brighton? Because we've got Brighton on the weekend. We've then got Liverpool in the Conti. I won't say what time because Nat might. Yeah.
No, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, that's to be resolved. Then the following weekend we've got Spurs away. And obviously that's got its own story. But anyway, I'm sure the podcast before that will pick it up. So we've got 3 games in a week. 3 big games, actually. 3 possibly quite winnable games. But we're going to have to manage this squad. So, Jake, we're looking at the Americans. We're looking at Fuso. We're looking at LJ. We're looking at Russo. Who's on the bench for you, though?
Well, here's a good thing about having 3 games before I come onto the bench. You know, it's not all one game. It's the be all and end all whether you start or not. 3 games in 8 days. You've got to have a bit of squad rotation in there, and I think that's good because we want every single player to have a bit of game time. We want them to have a chance to prove themselves. You know, to have a good performance. And you know, the competition can only be a good thing, and it's completely different to the problems that we had last season where we were struggling to name a full bench. You know, at times. So. Now we're talking about who makes the bench. It's completely different. So in terms of the bench, going for Brighton.
Obviously, when I say who makes the bench, Jake, that's depending on who you put in your first 11. But I'm just thinking about those players that we really want to see play, but might just not be ready yet.
Yeah, well, I know this is a bit of an unpopular one, but I'm going to say either. Well, I think one of Tobin or Kristen will start against Brighton. I don't think they'll play the full game, but I think one of them will start, and possibly the other one will come on later on. But I can definitely see one starting now. It's one of those, isn't it? You know, Nat was going on about the form players that we need to keep in the squad. Hayley, Jackie, Kirsty, who've all been fantastic in both games so far. But then you look at the bench. Obviously, look, I've been saying all along, before the Americans were announced and after as well, that Fuso is going to be something special for us. She won't be our main striker, but I think she's got to be the unsuspecting one, if you know what I mean. It'll pop up here and there with a goal. So I think she'll be brilliant coming off the bench. Lucy Stan, she's coming into a midfield that's standard up here, and we all know how much I love Lucy. But I'm starting to wonder if she's going to get game time because, as I say, Hayley, Jackie, Tooney in the centre, I can't fault any of them. And then you've got Lucy trying to come into that, and of course Katie. The options are just endless in a way.
It's great to have
win,
this
not to take part, take over.
And that's why I think this is what we've all said about whatever you did last year. That was great. If you had a great season or great half a season, well done. Start again, start afresh. And I think it's important that in all of this excitement, we don't underestimate our opponents. Namrata makes the very good point that last season away at Brighton, very difficult game. And I think Shane more or less says that the formation we played, and again, that was slightly limited because of our personnel. And this is the point that Fiona makes. One of those two coming off the bench if we're ever struggling. Imagine. Nah.
But it's what Namrat is saying, and even a bit what Shane was saying. And what you said, Deb, we can't underestimate. And I think that's what we did a bit against Birmingham. I think we thought, bang, 1-0, 5 minutes. We've got this, guys, you know? And I think having that mentality, and I think that Tobin and Kristen will change that. You can't let up. You've got to carry on pressing. You've got to carry on driving. I think really change it a bit. You know, like Jake was saying, I agree about the Fuso. She's going to be the way Honor's just come in and no one expected Honor to do what she's doing. And I think when you have a young person running at you with no fear, you know, they want to make that impact. And, you know, it's more a case of if we have a bench, who's not going to make the bench? That's what you know, when Jess comes back, when Martha comes back, we've got Kate and Stanley, and then we've got Jess, Ross, this, Fuso, that, everyone, mate. And it's great to see. I love it. But that's our problem. That was our problem last year. To be fair, we think we could have got more points last year. I just think we thought, you know, West Ham was one of them games too. Bang, got 2-1 now. That's it. And look what happened. And I think Reading, one of those games, we'll just see it out. You can't take your foot off the gas at any moment, no matter who it is against. Liverpool are going to be up for it. I mean, they've done what they've done. People are saying this, that. I think it's done on purpose. People want to tell me it's not. I think it's done on purpose to try and block us. I know people will say, block what, but they've done it I don't know. But, you know, 2:00 on a Wednesday. I just feel for the kids. I feel for Max if he's still here, you know, he'll be at school. It's not right, the way you treat your fans. A lot more needs to be done. But I think, like, you know, we can, it's going to be, it's speechless. I thought we get to this point now so quick, second year, and we're talking about who's going to make the bench and World Cup winners and world class players. And I think these girls can be world class, like even the ones like Tooney and Honor and all that.
Yeah, and obviously we're not naive enough to dismiss the fact that without COVID, this deal doesn't happen with Preston Heath. We're not going to pretend that we'd have signed them anyway. It's highly unlikely. Russo might have carried on and done a final year in uni, so that would have been a deal we didn't make. But on the other hand, Casey's also admitted that there are deals she couldn't make happen. So what COVID giveth, COVID taketh away as well. John's agreeing. What we need a competition for players. We need to keep people on their toes. Too often last year, we talked about the fact that it was the same 11. It was the same way of playing. And Shane makes the point here. Other games when we've scored early, you talked about Birmingham, Nat, and the Brighton game from last year. When we scored early, switched off, not have the same energy. Again, Birmingham and the Conti, Brighton away, West Ham. Shane's just pointing out that there's a pattern here. Shane thinks that Liverpool are just afraid of the dark. But Fiona's made a point, Nat. They just wanted to watch this podcast. There is, we can't say too much at this point, but we know that it's being queried as to why that's a 2:00 kickoff. We also at this stage don't know if there's going to be any television available to us for that game. We believe there may be a deal for the US audience to see it, but that doesn't mean we're going to get to see it. Hopefully we do get to see these Conti games in the same way that we can see the league games. But yeah, massively frustrating. It actually feels quite uncomfortable to think that there are going to be games that we have no knowledge of, because they're not just behind closed doors, they're not even televised. It's a strange feeling to actually not have any idea of what's going on. Jake, you're a massive fan, I think it's fair to say, of the Conti Cup, aren't you?
Yeah. I just want to come in on the whole televised thing, because the main thing, whether it's men's, women's, whatever football, while we're not allowed to go back to the stadiums, the one thing that should be prioritised is to just have it on somewhere, whether it's BT, whether it's FA Player. And I know the FA have never really prioritise streaming these Conti games. But in this situation, I think you just forget all your standards and everything you've done in the past. The fans want to see it, but you're not letting them in. And it's gonna, obviously the Liverpool one. If we miss that, it will really wind us up. The Everton one, we all know how much I love Everton away, and it's both in fact, no, all our Conti games, they're not far away. So the fact that we technically could get there, but we're not allowed, is frustrating enough. It just they've got to put the fans first, and the fact that you just said there could be a deal for the US fans to watch it, but we're not. It doesn't make any sense.
It also doesn't make sense that it will be 9 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. I would have thought it would have been later in the day if it's for the US audience, but that's what we're hearing. John, this is exactly what we're saying. All UK games should be screened somewhere if they're not allowing fans in. Jake, no one's going to disagree with you. There is one saving grace for you. As Shane points out, you're not missing a game at Southport. You're spot on. There should be, if we can't get to these games, they should always be televised. But the Conti Cup is rarely televised, certainly the FA Player. Nat?
We've watched all our Conti Cups. All our Conti Cup games have been televised. And we've got to shout out MUTV, Man United, for doing that, because they have been doing it since we've started playing. You've either been able to catch a game on BT or you've seen it on MUTV, even if it's highlights and this. Other clubs don't get that, and it's not good enough. It's not good enough for other clubs, so potentially they're not missing out on anything. They're missing out not going, but they're not missing out on a TV audience that we've always had for our Conti Cup games. So people are saying, "Oh, we're not missing anything anyway. Oh, it's just it doesn't matter what time it's at." No, it matters what time it's at, because you're setting a precedent that these games, who knows how long we're out for, and you're just going to play at any old time. We've had this conversation. Deb, little kids are saying, I'm going to miss it. Even if they're not there, it's just the hype of Liverpool, man. It's just the hype of Liverpool. And even if we're sitting with a phone, scrolling, watching, listening, I'm happy to sit and listen at 7 o'clock at night in my own house, sipping a beer. But I can't even do that because I'm at work. And I mean, I can get out of work easy. Not everyone can.
Nope.
And that's what it is. And the minute you say, yeah, it's all right, it's only 2 o'clock, fans aren't here, doesn't matter, you're setting that precedent for the rest. Oh, well, we've done it before at 2 o'clock. Nothing happened. No. It's not good enough. And the fact that you can put it on, they wouldn't do it for Anfield or Old Trafford. So why are they doing it for this?
Now, we talked earlier, and I said that my sense was there was almost this point of, well, if fans can't go, it doesn't matter. And traditionally, the Conti Cup has not been televised until we get. There's the odd game in the group stages, but until we get to sort of the semis and the final, they're not on the Player or even BT. MUTV have been great at showing all of our home games the last couple of years, and they've also shown certainly the Everton games. Both of those Southport games, Jake, they've both been on. So whether they could pick that up is another matter as well. Would they be able to pick up the feed from Prenton Park? Shane here says the FA don't give a stuff about the Conti Cup. This is the same FA who are still playing last year's FA Cup competition this year, prioritising that, but then chucking a big game, United-Liverpool, away at 2 o'clock. Doesn't seem to make sense. 2 o'clock kickoff, Ian says, good luck getting an official available for that. Oh, Ian, they didn't think about that when they put this in place. Let's not be so ridiculous. It would be strange. Here we go, Shane. They do a cherry-pick draw for the group stage in complete secret. Shane really doesn't like the fact that we never know who's drawn who because it's secret. There's never. We're used to the men's FA Cup being the balls being drawn out and it being quite a production. There is no way of knowing. I suspect, and I know it's been said, this year under the circumstances, the teams we were drawn with are the most local to us. For the obvious reasons, keep people's travel to a minimum. Fine, if that's the excuse. But in terms of home and aways, I think they just throw it up in the air. I don't know about. I think we should get a new hashtag going. I think we should get hashtag respect the Conti Cup. Jake, are you with me on that one?
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, because that's what this feels like. Respect for the Conti Cup. If
Yeah.
anybody wants to start that on Twitter, then
I
I'll
will.
join you in about 20 minutes. Yeah, Jake's with me. Respect for the Conti Cup, and let's get back to Southport. That's another conversation altogether. But obviously, those Conti games will mean some element of squad rotation. And then Casey's also got potentially injuries to manage. Pitches getting heavier. We know what some of those pitches were like at those grounds in December, January. We had games that didn't go ahead. Even when they did go ahead, some of them were heavy. Oh, here we go. We've got another hashtag. Jake, the Conti Cup president. Yes, vote Jake. I'm voting Jake.
Yeah.
Do you know when Heath and Press have been wearing that vote T-shirt of theirs? Is that for you? It's not about
Well,
Jake.
No, not Barmy.
It's basically don't vote Trump, I think is what they're saying. But yeah, make sure you got your thing for the speech. Preferably don't vote for him. But I think we could have vote Jake. I think maybe if somebody is listening to this, I might have to shout slightly loudly. If somebody's listening to this who's good with graphics, can we amend that picture of Kristen Press pointing at vote and add Jake in underneath? Okay. Hopefully he's heard that one. We'll get onto that for you, Jake. Yeah, the Conti games, obviously, we're talking squad rotation, but we're also talking managing injuries, because we always say about the men's players, can they do it on a cold Tuesday night in Stoke? Can Heath and Press do it on a boggy Dagenham pitch away at West Ham? That's a different challenge for them, but they have both played in Europe, and they would have played in some questionable pitches. They won't have always been at these incredible grounds in the States or international grounds. So I think it's just going to be a heck of a ride seeing what they can do. Massive frustration that we're not going to get to see them. Obviously, it was announced this week that sorry. We'll have words later. Kristen, there we go. Kristen Press has never been injured in her career. Let's hope that stays the way it is. Yeah, no pressure or anything there. Oh, here we go. Fiona, saying about what we've said about the Conti, FA player only has highlights of the quarterfinal, semi-finals, and the full match for the final. That's really poor. Fiona, hashtag respect the Conti Cup. Get it trending. I want to check on my phone in 20 minutes and see respect the Conti is trending. I don't know. I talked about Dagenham, but I'm actually just thrilled that we're not going to get to go to West Ham. Yeah, it's been announced that we're potentially facing 6 months of restrictions in this country. People have suggested that means 6 months of not being able to go to football. There is the vague hope that will change. Obviously, if that is the case, and we are looking at a longer time before we can get to the football, we will continue to be here for members, for anybody who wants to join us. And it's like a bit of a public service announcement. The Barmy Army are here for each other. Get on it, Ian. Sending a tweet now. So we will always continue to be here. I can't say we're going to be here every Wednesday because if that Liverpool game gets moved back, we're going to have to go at a different time. But there are going to be things like watch-alongs. We're going to carry on with the podcast, but also we're on Twitter, we're on Insta. Please do get in touch. I think this week I've been aware that I've spoken to a few people who said that it's now having an impact. They're aware the impact it's having on their mental health. Without bringing the tone of things down, we are all here for each other, and we're all going to have moments where we struggle. So let's keep each other going. Because what I'm keeping my focus on is, if we don't get into games for a while, I cannot wait to get back to games at a point when we are on the verge of winning something or we've won something. Because that Conti Cup could happen without us even being there. Okay? So to not be there would hurt. So I'm thinking, let's get to a point where we're coming back to games. Jake, if you had one thing we could win this year, what is it?
I feel like I have to say the Conti Cup at this point. However, you know, as much as I love the Conti Cup, I'd go for the FA Cup just because it's such a prestigious competition. And even though I love the Conti Cup, it's given me some of my best memories as a United Women fan. The FA Cup is, you know, my favourite competition in football, men's or women's, that is, just hands down. And just to have our name, you know, on the trophy, it would just be incredible.
Okay. Nat, Tobin said she's coming here for titles. Which one's she getting?
I want the Conti Cup, but what I want is the league. The league, mate. That's it. And she's coming here to win, not to take part, not to just, they said, finish in third. We're not here for that. We're here for winning, you know, being number one. For me, I love the Conti Cup. Obviously, we're not going to be there. I don't think we're going to be there. It'd be absolutely devastating. But like what Jake says, if we could win the FA Cup over the Conti Cup, I love the Conti Cup. I love the Conti Cup just as much as Jake. So if we could win the FA Cup, though, at least May, we're looking at potentially summer months again being there. You know, if we won the league, summer months again, lifting it. Maybe it's something they can look at if they did the Conti Cup, like, you know, like coming to the window or something. Coming to the window and just holding it, yeah, and everyone just touches the window like they're touching the trophy. That's the kind of thing
that. Ian and Jules, they were all three. So they're setting the sights there. Shane says that his passion for the Conti lessened when we couldn't attend the City Arsenal love affair. Question. Ian's been asked, how much would he pay Jake for a domestic hat-trick of trophies? I think you've got to go double or quits on your Jane Ross bet. Oh, John's made a point here. I honestly think we are one player away from challenging for everything. John, who is that player or what is their position? I've got a hunt. I wouldn't say it's one, though. I'd say there's two.
Centre back.
How many would you say? Centre back is one.
Right back.
Yeah. I'd say the same. John, I'd love to know if you got anybody in mind. Jake? Players or positions? How many would you say? That's a great point. Yeah.
I haven't really thought about it. It's a very good point. Yeah.
This is what I love so much about the podcast, that sometimes I have a plan for 5 minutes and then we just go with something else. That point has John's saying that, much as we said, a pacey centre back. Ian's agreeing we need a centre back. Shane's named them. That's Spanish now. Okay. Come on, one player, one position. And it cannot be Rachel Furness or Anna Philby or whoever else you absolutely love.
Yeah, no. I know if we are to get a world-class centre back, it can't be one of the home nations ones, unfortunately. Although I'm a fan of Leah Williams, so I think she is an elite centre back. Good point, Namrata.
Yeah, it's a bit of a curveball.
I hate to criticise Mary, but it depends how high we're aiming and what we're aiming for. And you compare our squad to City, to Chelsea, and I think John makes a good point. Maybe we are just one, possibly two players off their level.
I think a centre back, and then I think the only thing that would worry me is if Ladd went out. So I think I'm not seeing Staniforth yet, but I don't know. You know, maybe she'll be that replacement for Ladd, but that would worry me as well. But then if you look at our midfield, and I think it's stacked, so I don't know.
I've got. I agree. I think in terms of potential players that we've not got cover for. Jules mentioned, I've lost the comment now, but they've never heard Tobin speak at length as well. So clearly very passionate and believing in what they're doing. Shane, I think Mark will definitely agree with this. Amandine Henry. Yeah. I think we'd all love that. The only way that could be improved was if she wore number 7 and took Tooney's number, because I can guarantee somebody would be down at the Megastore the moment that deal was announced, getting them on home, away, home long sleeved, away, third. and everything that possibly could be. Now,
haven't we already got that for press? And he's
but
we got
how
third
many
yet?
people do you know? Nat, you can't get your surname on the back of a shirt.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, but there's no
Pay for it.
player with your surname that plays for United.
You never know.
Okay.
One day.
Fiona's saying what I think we all know where needs to be worked on next year's window. So, presuming that as things stand, Heath and Press won't be with us, that's still the area, because by then we've had a year of Fuso developing. Russo would have played quite a bit, I dare say. So probably the defence. Namrata's making a point. 2021, the year of Hegerberg.
Well, she'll be in demand, won't she?
Fiona.
But
yes.
what I was saying about the whole Press, Heath and all this, and where we're going to be up to, and I just think, yeah, Russo would have developed, Fuso would have developed, but I still think, they will be a big miss if they do go. I think they're going to make a big impact, and I think that's a big miss. It will be sad to see them go back, but it is what it is. But so maybe we might even get a. Not saying it's going to be Ada Hegerberg or Henri or anything like that, but I think I know we've got this deal through COVID, but it's sort of like set the standard now. That's what we can talk about signing more players because we signed them. That's it.
I think I've made the point with you, Jake, on podcasts that now that we've kind of gone there ahead of time, we can't go there next year. This is it now, Casey. This is the standard. Don't drop us.
Yeah.
But John makes the point, the one thing that's going to help us attract players, Champions League. Would you take Champions League? Ooh, here we go. Would you take Champions League over a trophy this year? A trophy and fourth?
Champions League.
Or top three and no trophy?
Top three and no trophy. Top three and no trophy.
Jake?
Trophy, no top three.
Anybody else? I'd be really intrigued because as I'm asking it, I'm thinking myself, and I want that trophy, but I also want Champions League because I know what it'll do. Fiona, if we get Champions League, that opens up a different level of transfer. John agrees with you, Nat. Namrat is basically saying what we've all said about Casey's crawl, walk, run mantra. Crawl, walk, run, crawl, walk, jog, Usain Bolt. Yeah. Okay. Shane's just going. Yeah.
That's the one. That's it. We're going to win it all. We're going to win all three. That's what they've come to do. That's what I want to do. Why are we talking about top three? Let's talk about top one. Because
I'm asking a hypothetical, Nat. That's how dialogue starts. Fiona makes a point. Top three and no trophy, if that's the way it has to be, means the improvement will be sustained because of who we can bring in. Whereas potentially no Champions League means we cannot sustain the improvement. Jason again says this. He's agreeing with Fiona. It has to be Champions League to attract these players. So really, we want a trophy. Sorry, Namras has nailed it again. And a double over City. Yes. Why not? Why not just a double, a treble, a quadruple when we get drawn together in the FA Cup? Why not? That's going to happen, isn't it?
Hold on.
Have we done that drawing yet? Sorry, Nat?
How sweet would it be if we finished third, though, and they finished fourth, and she'd come back to, I want to do this, and I want to do that. None of us win trophies, but we've done that. It would just be long. Thanks for coming.
John says Champions League is a success, just like a cup. John Fry clarifies when he says top three, doesn't mean third. It could be first, second, or third. Okay. Oh, sweet. Although right now, I'd also take Arsenal. I'd take knocking. Nat, Mark's going to win this conversation for you. Keep your trophies. Euro aways.
Euro aways. Renew your passport. I still need to renew it.
Get on it. Jake, passport? Have you got your
Sorry?
passport ready for Euro aways if need be?
I haven't. I need to get on it.
Get on it, Jake.
Renew it. Need
Because
to renew
Fiona wants to show you all the great hostels of Europe. Fiona, you've missed a letter out here.
Hostel living.
You've missed a letter out.
Hostel living.
It means hostels, okay?
Hostel living, right?
John,
You get a 8
John's,
and roll in it. It's the way to be, mate.
John's disagreeing with Susie Rack that City are challengers. We all are, John, disagreeing with Susie Rack. He thinks they're there for the taking. Again, Ian, you need to check your typing. It should say hostels. Oh, Namrata. Top three. Honor scores the winner. The camera pans to our former captain. I'd love to think. Yeah, I'd love to think we're capable of winning something this year.
Yeah.
The real frustration would obviously be if it's the Conti and we're not able to get there. But we can also hope that things will change sooner than that. Nat, you can be in a hostel. Fiona's going to be in a hotel down the road. Shane makes a really good point. Of course, Ian's got his spelling wrong. He's no stranger to typos. So yeah, Ian appreciates that. I'd love to think we're going to win something this year. It would just be the most incredible feeling to have this team win something. It would only be dampened by us not being there. So we'd have to find a way to celebrate. Somehow we're going to have to do something, but nearly coming up to time. Jake, what does your football weekend look like? Because you had a busy day today, didn't you?
Yes, I did. This is a bit off topic for United, isn't it? But
it is and it isn't, because I'll bring it back in a sec. Go on.
Yeah, well, of course, my Belarusian team won today. Comfortable 4-0 win. So look, I'm not complaining there. Yeah, beat bottom of the table, Smolovici, that's the name. So yeah, I'm happy. And we're playing them again on Monday. So happy days.
Oh, okay. For anybody that doesn't know, the reason why we asked Jake about this is that in reaction to games being postponed in this country, you started watching the Belarusian league to help you through what was our initial lockdown. So that was your diversion during lockdown, and you've since taken a lot of interest in it. Now that the games are back, you're still watching this, aren't you?
I'm trying to balance it all, really, because obviously the league, the Belarusian league's got a full weekend, but then obviously you've got the FA Cup action for the women, and even though I started involved on.
And this is what I was going to say. The FA Cup's on this weekend. There are some games. Nat, I know you were asking why there's some championship games that weren't televised, but it is ultimately another dead weekend for Manchester United. But actually, I'm of the mind that right now, that's almost better for us because everybody's back, everybody's fit. Casey's got a full week, if not more. Jess is the only one, and maybe Martha, if she's had to isolate, who might not be, and if they're not fit as well, might not be able to train. But come next week, come next Sunday, breaks are off. Genuinely, I think we go against Brighton.
Fire.
Sorry, Nat?
Bring the fire.
Bring the fire. It was the game we were hoping to get to. It was put down as an opportunity for us to get back into grounds. Unfortunately, things have changed. But I think whenever we do get back, it's going to be ridiculous. We're going to be absolutely ecstatic. I think our reaction now will be similar to yours before the City game when you got a little bit excited. But I mean, Ian's saying poor Brighton. Fiona's saying gives more time for the Americans to learn how Casey wants to play. It's one more week for everybody to get fit, and hopefully there will be a watch along for that Brighton game. And I think Mark, who's doing the podcast probably next week, will do a more complete look ahead to that Brighton game, where they will probably discuss who they will be picking for that game, not with a view of, well, this one can't play that many and this one's that. So That's probably going to get discussed next week. By then, we will also hopefully seen Kristen Press's interview. But as I said, if anybody hasn't yet seen the Tobin Heath one, go and watch it. Because if that doesn't make you feel positive and hopeful, and the only negative being that it's going to be a while before you actually get to see her physically in a red shirt for those of us that are in the UK and get to games, or even those of us, people who travel over, that's the only downside to it. Otherwise, it is brilliant. Fiona can't wait to see reactions to lineup. Yeah, that'll be on the watch along too, maybe, if we start that slightly earlier. Yeah, Tobin wants to train. Absolutely. We want to see them. We want to see them. John, you've asked about the watch along, I think it is. We'll be sending details out to members. I know we did for the first two, so just keep an eye on your inbox for that. Anybody who isn't a member and is interested, get in touch with us via Twitter. Nat, any last thoughts, last comments before we leave everybody in peace?
Let's go, MUFC. Okay.
Okay, and there will also, Nat's just reminded me with her intense chanting, we will hopefully have the new songbook available via some online source. So hopefully that'll be there. Jake, I am expecting you to have learnt all the songs and have them ready for that Brighton game.
Oh, I'll be singing them, don't worry.
I hope so, Jake.
I'll do my own work.
Any last thoughts from you? Anything?
It's all just very exciting. I know, you know, we've had a long wait for this Brighton game, but I think it's the wait in some ways that sort of just builds it up more and more, rather than just throwing games at us, bit, you know, one by one. It's a 3-week wait, and then it's gonna be a big day for who starts, for who's on.
It's been frustrating almost that we've had nothing, and then bang, 3 games in a week. And I love this because I just want to see the girls play all the time. John, it wasn't, sorry, thank you for Mark for bailing me out. It was about the interviews. They're also online. I think mine came through via Twitter, so they'll be on.
On the app as well.
On the app, on Twitter, just if you do a search online, you probably find them. The conversation's taking bets on how many players will get nutmegged by Tobin this season, or there's a conversation going on there. Nat, your internet held out. Thank you. Jake, thank you so much for joining me.
Love you.
Honestly, I appreciate you joining me. Everybody who's joined us tonight, if you've left a comment, thank you very much for interacting with us that way. If you were just watching us, then thank you very much for joining us all the same. Hopefully, you'll join us again next week. I'm expecting yes, like, share, subscribe, Barmy Army, or just Nat, and she'll always link you to it. But yes, Shane's got it, Nat. That's why your internet's been sorted. You pay your lecky bills. Mark or myself will be back next week. We'll have a full preview of Brighton. Probably have to do a preview maybe also of the Liverpool game, because we'll end up having to possibly switch podcasts depending on when that game does actually go ahead. I'll see you on the social, all being well this week. Yeah, there's a Formula One race. You know I can't be bothered with those. Nat, I don't know what your plans are this Sunday, but we might see you all. Thank you to everybody for joining us, and see you all again soon. Take care, everybody. Look after yourselves. Keep safe. Bye.